How's it going today, guys? We're coming to you from Mummert Y Block, and we want to talk about some basic principles of the Y Block rocker arm. The rocker arm is these three here, and the way they were built from Ford, they were basically one unit. And what that means is that it took the same rocker to go on every valve. Some of these engines here, you can see these are a Lincoln Y block. They had a specific left and right offset, and these are out of a later model LS3. They had one straight rocker, and then they had another offset rocker. And so the principle or the premise of offset rockers is actually quite common. When you look at the three Y block rockers, what you'll see is that the engine required three rocker arms. It required a centered rocker, pretty centered, a left offset, and a right offset. And when Ford built the engine, their main criteria was they wanted the push rods to be perfectly straight. They did not want the push rods to be angled or side load the rocker arms. And I think one of the main reasons was that they used this light tension spring to keep the rocker arms in place. So they wanted the push rods to push on the rockers very straight to eliminate any side load or thrusting. We've been getting a lot of calls lately where people want to try to center up the tip of the rocker over the valve stem. What Ford did was, instead of building three different rocker arms, they just built one rocker. And what they did is they just put a little material left and right on either side of center to make sure that one rocker arm could handle these three positions that were required. And in doing so, it saved time during assembly. It saved money from having to manufacture three rocker arms, because here in the Lincoln, they were already making two different rocker arms, and they said, well, we don't want to do that. One thing you can see is that offset rockers are really common, especially in high performance. Here's a catalog of a straight rocker, small offset, and then obviously you get all the way to very large amounts of offset. The rockers were really built this way to simplify your life, not make your life more complicated. They were designed to keep the push rods very straight so that this amount of spring tension could hold the rocker arms in place. The design works fine. If you guys wanted to get really tricky, if you were going to try to performance this design, just like we've done here, you could indicate where the valve stem tip location is. And then, if you were really hot rodding, you could start removing material off here and lighten these rockers, because every 10 grams you take off the valve side is good for an extra 200 RPM with any given spring pressure. Now, I'm not recommending you do that, because 90+% of you guys are just putting them together to have good running street engines. But they did do this with a very specific intent in mind. I know the rocker arms all appear to be straight. They are one design, but I think in essence what you're really seeing here is a left offset, a right offset, and a centered rocker, and just Ford's approach at doing it economically and simply. So, all right, man, have a good one. Happy Y blocking.